Hey, good morning,
Hey, good
everybody.
morning,
It's
everybody.
Marcus here, and today I've got with me Bonnie and Molly Penfold from what's the name of the property, guys?
Oh, Bombine.
Old Bombine. That's right. So welcome, guys, and Molly, thanks for joining us with 2 seconds to go.
Yeah, I just got pulled the tractor up, so lucky I made it.
No, good on you. Anyway, great to have you guys here today. Bonnie, I caught up with on the weekend. She was delivering the pink boxes of beef around southeast Queensland, so we've got our box of beef, given half of it to Mum, and the rest is in my fridge. So looking forward to a big barbecue this weekend. So guys, just let's start right off the top. What got you on the idea of the boxes of beef and delivering that around the regional areas? The city areas.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty long story, but I'll start from the start. So we were sending Black Angus meat to China, and
Yep.
the Chinese didn't want the rumps, which we thought was a bit different because in Australia we love a good rump steak, and so when they sent them, we were like, well, we'll keep them. I'm sure that we can sell them domestically, and I'm sure everyone would like to try some because in Australia we don't get that top quality meat, and we generally do send it all overseas. So we thought it'd be nice to share it with some of the people in southeast Queensland.
Well, actually, a fantastic idea. In fact, the meals at hotels around Australia are built on a rump steak. So I mean, what's wrong with the Chinese? Why wouldn't they want that good cut? Just doesn't fit their.
It worked out well, and then from that, people just were wondering if they could have any other cuts. And at that point, that was all we had, so we only had the rumps. But came up with the idea that what if we put the whole beast in a box, do all the different cuts, and all the little cuts that aren't going to make enough boxes, we put them into the mince and sausages, and yeah, so now we make 198 boxes out of 15 bodies, so it's pretty cool. Keeps us busy anyway.
Well, it's fantastic, and as I say, my fridge is now full. I've got about 3 barbecues lined up, I think, to get through all that stuff. So thank you, Bonnie, for dropping that off the other day. But look, let's go back right to the beginning. Let's start with Mum and Dad. There's 4 of you. We're going to get to today, but let's go back and talk about how Mum and Dad started on the farm, and when you 4 guys were growing up, how did the whole idea come about of the 4 daughters?
Yeah, so sort of Mum and Dad. Dad has a basically it's where our granddad first came when he lived up in New South Wales. So we've been here for lots and lots of years. So Dad, Mum was from Brisbane and married Dad and moved out here, which was a bit of a lifestyle change for her, I guess. But she seemed to do pretty well, and I don't think she would live anywhere else now. Some days I bet she beg to differ, but most of the time she finds it all right. So, yeah, from then on, we've sort of lived here the rest of our lives. They had all of us, and
Okay, we lost them for a second there, but you hear us again, Bonnie? You just disappeared for a sec.
Yeah, sorry, Dad was calling us.
Oh, that's right. Using your iPhone. Just tell Dad to give it a break, and he can wait. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so then we sort of started working more just with Dad, Mum, and the 4 girls ourselves. We went into a bit of our own business and bought our own places. And we've expanded to out near Blackall. We bought a block at Yarraka, which has just given us continued to diversify our farming opportunities. And from there, we've just kept working as a family. We started a feedlot, and now we're running 2 feedlots as well, which we feed for Woolworths each week, and we sell each week, which works really well. Yeah, it keeps us busy. We're all feeding or doing other jobs around the place. So.
Oh, that's right. Well, I was fortunate enough to come out there the other day and to stay at the property, to see the property. And you've got a fantastic operation there. I just haven't been up to Yarraka yet. I'll have to drop by Yarraka next time I'm going up to Longreach and drop in and check out the place up there.
Yeah, definitely.
So Molly, you four girls have all gone away to boarding school in Brisbane. You've still got one of your sisters is still down there at boarding school, and you know your dad's right into helicopters. He's got an ARF Robinson 44 and loves flying that. But your younger sister is also very keen in engineering and aviation. So you just cover up on the life the four of you have had as you've gone through boarding school in Brisbane, and each of you are very different. So do you want to just cover up on that, Molly?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there is the youngest who's still at school. To her dislike, she thinks that because the rest of us are out, she should be out too. So she's still there. She really does want to fly helicopters eventually, but Mum and Dad think that's a good idea, but she probably needs to learn how to fix them first and learn all of the little bits of how it actually works before she goes around flying them. So I think that'll be good. She's still keen on that. And our third sister, Jemima, she finished school last year, and she's having her gap year this year up north at a place north of Cloncurry there. And so she's loving it. She just wanted to go and see a bit of the bigger country before she came home. And I know she will come home. She signed up to another 6 months up there next year, so she'll stay away for a little bit longer, but she will come home.
Yeah. Now, sorry, you go on.
Right. Yeah, so we're both at home. We're both studying full time as well as working. So I'm studying a Bachelor of Accounting, and Bonnie's studying a Bachelor of Primary Teaching, and she's nearly done. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, end of the year, so it'll be good to have that out of the way.
Well, because and I like that concept that your mum and dad had was that regardless of how much you love being on the land, no matter how capable you are, he wants each of you to have an extra occupation, doesn't he? An extra skill, an extra trade, so that if life changes on the land or you don't want to be on the land anymore for whatever reason, you've absolutely got another skill. Is that why you set it up that you did that?
Yeah. So Mum did teaching and is a teacher as well, and she's always just it's good to have something you can go away through that's separate to the farm. If it's 1 or 2 days a week, it's just a bit of a break. It's something a bit different.
Yeah.
With farming, can be such an up and down, unreliable sort of patient, I suppose, because it's so dependent on weather and so many external factors. It's good to have a backup plan just in case it doesn't work out or you need an extra source of income. So we've all been required by Mum and Dad to get enough. Definitely a good thing.
Yeah. No, look, absolutely. So, do you want to talk about the airport? Because I watched the Landline show, and for those that are watching, if you go onto the ABC and look back through Landline, you'll see a show about the Four Daughters, which was very good. It was 12 minutes. I watched it yesterday, and very enlightening. So, do you want to talk about what happened and how you came into the export area?
Yeah. So it's something we'd always sort of thought about. You hear people saying that they export overseas or they're exporting their beef directly to China, and that, while that seems like a great idea, it was always a bit of a pipe dream. It seemed a bit out of reach. But Dad went to Rockhampton Beef probably 4 years ago now. So yeah, 2017. And he was just there with a few mates, and they'd spent their day looking around. And they went to the bar that night just to have a few beers. All of Dad's friends were standing having a nice time, and Dad's like, look, I've had enough of this walking around all day. I need to sit down. So he went to sit on a table where there was only one table left, and it had a Chinese lady sitting at it, and she had papers spread out all over the table. And he said, look, would you mind if I just sit down? I don't need to talk to you. I just want to sit. I've had a long day walking around, and I just seat. And she was like, oh, no worries. And she cleared off all her papers, and they got to talking, and he was quite frustrated, Dad said, because she'd been there. She was from Wuhan in China, and she'd been trying to talk to Australian meat growers to try and find someone who'd be able to export to them. And she was obviously talking to the bigger companies, and none of them had a great interest in her as she's just herself and her husband partnership, like a small family business as well. And Dad said, well, funnily enough, I can help you out. I have a small family business as well, and we grow beef. And so from then, our relationship with her, so that's Nisha and Frank, her husband, sort of grew. They came out to home after Rocky Beef Week where they met Dad, and they came to have a look around and decided that it was probably, we sort of decided it was a partnership worth pursuing, or something to learn more about, I guess. So we spent a year sort of educating them about beef and about how we grow it and what all the requirements and all the costs. Like, we're very open with the cost of things and like how much it costs to feed them, and therefore this is why we need to be charging this price for it. So it was probably about a year before we actually started exporting to them. So it was like, it's a long relationship building education period, which was quite good, and we learned a lot. Mum and Dad and I went to China, went to Wuhan to visit them, and that was very educational in itself as well. So it was a really good experience. And then once we'd built that relationship and developed that sort of understanding of each other and what they wanted, what we were able to provide, we started exporting in April, June of last year. So about mid 2019, we started exporting. We'd sort of been exporting for a few months, and then they did a month. So that was how our domestic brand started as well. There was the whole COVID thing, as this has all happened. We were having our beef processed in Casino, which was working really well, and it was working as we were wanting it, and Frank and Nisha were happy with it as well. But since the Chinese government stopped exporting to China, then we've had a bit of a hiccup there and haven't been able to find a facility that is able to export to China. So that's been put on hold for a little while, and we've just been focusing on our domestic pink boxes.
Yeah. So I just missed you there when you were talking about it. The problem with the export to China, was it the flu, or was it in regard to the meat processing and then sending it off to China from there?
Yeah, it was the meat processing ban from the Chinese government about the label.
There was some sort of labeling, and people have read into it as they would like to read into it, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But yeah, so there's lots of different probably reasonings, I suppose, for the ban of what's via Casino and a selection of other abattoirs. It's not just Casino, obviously, but it was. I said it was due to a labeling.
But that's still going on. We haven't started just focusing on the domestic at the moment.
So yes, you put in a big supply to Woolworths each week, your dad was saying. So obviously that's very useful. But there's a chance you can get the China deal back at some stage. Is that right?
Well, Frank and Nisha are still interested in trying to work with us, and that's still a strong relationship we have with them. It's just waiting for government restrictions to ease or change.
Sure.
I think it's pretty, from what our understanding, we're waiting on the Chinese government to make changes. Really?
Yep. Okay. So. Okay, let's just moving on to because there'll be people who watch this that don't live out west. So I just want to try and give a bit of an insight into life growing up on a cattle farm out in Western Queensland. Four young girls, boarding school, coming back. How do you guys all get on? There's four of you. I mean, four girls working together. Tell me how that works.
Well, we get on very well, 98% of the time. And then there's probably where we have a little bit of arguments, but that's to be expected. But no, we're pretty good over arguments to move on, and we actually probably work better together than we do with other people. So.
Yeah, I think sort of growing up with sisters, obviously growing up with the same people, if you can maintain that working relationship, which we have, it is very easy because we're so on the same wavelength and obviously being taught all the same things the same way.
Yep.
So you can take someone, go and do this, and they do it exactly how you expect them to, just because we've been working together for so long and all learn things at the same time in the same way. So we're all very on the same page, which is very handy.
Okay. Now, tell me about your dad. I mean, your dad's surrounded by 5 ladies, and even the cat's a female. Is that right? Or I think when I was there the other day, it's a cat. Is there any other male animals of any sort apart from a couple of bulls out in the paddock?
Yeah, the dogs are.
No, he's pretty, I think he's pretty well looked after most of the time.
Your dad's spoiled rotten, I suppose. Now he's mad keen about his helicopter. So how many of you other girls are keen on learning how to fly the chopper?
I've done a bit of fixed wing flying, and I'm keen to keep going with that and finish that off. But chopper's probably not quite on my radar at the moment. I guess see how things pan as time goes on. I guess Dad always said he started in his fixed wing as well, and so he sort of said it's a good start. Go and do that, and then if you really love it, it's then you can produce a chopper. It's just a bit cheaper, easier way to sort of start on the whole flying obsession, I guess. So see if you really like it, and then go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Molly, what about you? You have any urge to pick up your wings?
Not really. Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy staying on the ground. I don't mind going up for a joy flight every now and then, but I can't do very long trips. I don't handle, my stomach doesn't handle it very well, so I think I'll stay on the ground.
Well, that's right. So going up to Yarraka is not one of your favourite things either, like your mum.
No, yeah, exactly. Mum and I like to drive.
No, but the rest of the she doesn't mind the flying. She'll do it if she has to, and she's happy for an occasional quick fly around our places here, just have a look at how everything looks from the sky.
But she likes to drive to Yarraka
she'd
as
happily leave it as well. But Matilda is the flying fanatic, really. So any chance she gets, she hops on her, and Dad takes the jewels and lets her have a little bit of a go. So she's well on her way to. Well, she's definitely got flying sense a lot more than the rest of us. So.
Yeah. Well, next time I'm coming out your way. In fact, I'm coming out next week. I'm coming out to speak at a succession planning event in Gundawindi. So if Matilda ever wants to look out your way, tell her to give me a ring and I'll stick her in the boot. She'll be right.
Yeah, sure she'll be helping.
There's plenty of room, so she can always hop in. So who came up with the idea of the pink boxes? I mean, I'm intrigued from a marketing point of view. It's obviously a really catchy thing. It's done very well for you guys. Whose idea was that?
It was Mum, Molly and I. We sort of sat down one night when China sent the message to start with saying, not China, Frank and Nisha sent the message saying they don't want rumps. Mum sort of was racking over and what are we going to do? And Molly and I were like, well, let's just sell them. Like, can't be that hard. I'm sure we can hire a truck. And so that night we started our Facebook page, and I know that's not much to go off, but I think it definitely wants to just, take a bit of a leap. And once you do that leap, even if it's as simple as a Facebook page, you can at least start to get the ball rolling. And once you get the ball rolling, I guess you sort of take a bit of responsibility, or a bit of responsibility is put to sort of do something more. So and then we worked with DMS in Toowoomba, so they're a marketing company, and they were really helpful in establishing the pink box and the whole brand as to how it would be branded. So it was great to learn. We learned a lot from them about marketing, and even just things like colours and like how many colours there is. There's types of pink. We had a lot of pink battles in the way. We nearly went with blue box, but I think blue boxes definitely turned out to be a better choice. So
absolutely. So when you how often do you drive down and deliver all those boxes?
Well, we do that every month, at least once a month, and we're trying to do it sort of towards the end of each month, just so that it becomes a bit of routine for people, all the customers, and it works well. We do it sort of on a weekend. The first day is a Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday deliveries, which works because people don't have to go to work and come and pick it up from our locations. So it's working really well.
Well, it was interesting on Saturday when I came and picked up a box from you guys. It was interesting. It's like you guys would be rock stars. It's like a cult following of all the people sort of waiting there in their cars, desperately waiting for your truck to drive up, and they sort of come out. It's like a social event, and in some ways. And obviously, they build up a relationship with you guys, and obviously they're there each month. Is that kind of how it works? You
We have
effectively.
which is pretty cool, and to have them come back each month and say, "Oh, geez, that was really great," and can you try to do this a bit differently? Like that feedback's also always appreciated, and it's great to have those customers back because you get to sort of form a bit of a relationship with them, have a few jokes, and catch up with people once a month is a bit of a social couple of days.
So your mother would be keen to know whether the T-bone steaks were thick enough. Is that right? That sort of feedback.
They were slightly thicker, but we still think they weren't quite thick enough, which was a bit of a disappointment, but hopefully we'll get there. We'll keep working with our butcher to hopefully improve them a little bit. But yeah, no, we're definitely in agreement that we're a fan of steak, so we're going to keep working on that one.
Oh, that's fine. So what happens after you guys? So you've got mum and dad on the farm. Obviously you four have come along, so you're the four daughters. Now, when you guys get married and have kids, what's the business going to be called then? The grandkids?
Well,
20 grandkids or what?
I think we'll have to take it day by day. So far, I'm not going to
just see what happens.
I think I don't think we'll rush this grandkids business.
That's a few years away anyway. So we'll stick with the four daughters. That's right, yeah. You've got a few years up your sleeve to worry about that one yet. So with the business, where do we go from here? If nothing else happens with China, how do you see yourselves growing your business and your brand from this point forward? Because obviously there's huge opportunities out there for you. What are they?
There's definitely huge opportunity, and I think we have to look more into sort of automating it a bit. So we have to, there's definitely a bit ability to expand our domestic market through further marketing, like through some bigger companies, radio stations, more marketing. We can definitely increase our customer base, I guess, into Australia.
Someone must be ringing them at this very moment. For those that are watching. So we'll just hang on and wait for them to come back. I think they're using their iPhones, and what happens is when someone rings, it kills the connection. Anyway, look, I'll chat. Yeah, we can hear you again now, Bonnie. Did you add me again?
Yeah, he did. Can you see us? Our screen isn't working.
Okay, I can't see you, but I can hear. Can you? Okay, so we were talking. Again. Okay, we'll have to have words with him later. So that we were talking about what your plans were for the future, how you were going to expand your operations and so on. And you said one of your opportunities was in regard to automation and so on. What other thoughts have you got in regard to expanding what you do? I mean, there's a lot of manual work, and whilst it's a great service, a one-on-one delivery when you come down on at the end of each month to Brisbane, Gold Coast, North Coast, and so on. How can you spread that opportunity further afield?
Well, we've had a bit of an idea, but it's probably a far-fetched one. It's a bit of a combination of dads and our cousins, and it's a bit like a vending machine idea. So a 40-foot container or a 20-foot container, depending on the location of a vending machine, that's obviously frozen, so you wouldn't be able to get just because that way it can sit there a lot longer, and we can just fill up a 40-foot container, and somehow you go and you pay your $160 for your box, and the vending machine that's actually a 40-foot container spits out a pink box. So
that way we could have it in other cities like Melbourne and Sydney, and we could have them split out within, if we put 3 in Brisbane at the moment, I know that we definitely have the customer base there to sort of support that, and that would we wouldn't have to do deliveries as often.
Yeah, and then people would make sure containers are full. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you? How far down the line are you in regard to planning that sort of operation?
I think it's still a bit of a dream.
I think it's someone's drawing on the kitchen bench, but we probably should do a bit more research into it, really.
Okay. Is there any way you can get the video back on your phone, guys?
have tried.
We'll turn the video off
nearly-
again.
No, it's not. Somehow it's not working. Unless Molly's got a phone that she can use or not.
Mine probably wouldn't work for this, I don't think.
Mine's a
Okay.
bit
Hey,
bigger.
I want to talk about the landline interview. How long did that take you to get that done? Because that was a great show on the ABC that you guys recorded.
It took us a fair while.
3 days of filming, I think, wasn't it?
There was 3 days of home, definitely. And then we also met with Pip Courtney and her team while we were down in Brisbane doing the meat run.
Okay.
So if all up, it was 3 days, or 4 days of filming. So,
And then we really didn't know what they were going to put onto the show, so that was quite interesting for us to sit down and watch it like everyone else for the first time and to see what they'd actually put in. So, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, look, sorry we've lost the video with you, but we can still hear you. But look, I just want to let's finish off, Bonnie and Molly, and I just want to ask, as we go for the rest of this year, people who want to get in contact, get onto the website. What's the website? What's the Facebook page that they can go to connect with you and to order?
Yeah, we have a Facebook and an Instagram. Both of those are under Four Daughters Beef. So
Okay, Four Daughters, yes.
Four Daughters Beef is the Facebook and Instagram. And
Four Daughters Beef,
our
okay, yep.
the website is just fourdaughters.com.au. So it's pretty easy if you put it in any search engine and search Four Daughters Beef, it should come up there for you. So
Okay. No, that's great. Well, it's Molly, Bonnie, it's been a delight speaking with you. As I said, I met you last week when I was out at Old Bombine and catching up when I landed next door on. It was so funny landing the property next door to yours is owned by John Warby, who's an old schoolmate of mine, my brothers as well. They rode together at school, so it was nice to catch up with them as well. So I had a lovely weekend out there, and because of the bad weather, I got to go to the football. Molly, didn't I? As well, so it was all happening out there last weekend. So look, guys, thanks very much, and wish you every success. And anyone who's watching, please just go to fourdaughtersbeef.com.au or on the Facebook page or an Instagram page. Follow Bonnie, Molly, and the other two girls, and I wish you every success, guys. So thanks again for joining us today.
thank you very much, Mark. It was great speaking with you.
Yeah, and lovely to meet you last weekend as well. Hopefully we can catch up in the future.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye.